Hello, guten Morgen. I am Reverend Karen Lewis. I am one of the senior ministers here at the New Vision Center, and it is my joy to be here in this day and to bring with me just the blessings of this community. I wanted to start off by sharing and saying thank you for all of the text and the notes that are being sent in, for just the love that we receive here at the office from all of you out there. It is so wonderful to be so connected. And it reminds me that this is really all of our community. So thank you for the emails, for the connection. We so appreciate that. So here we are. We here at the New Vision Center have an annual theme. And our annual theme this year is grounded in love and growing in grace. Now, I just want to say, did we have some opportunity to grow in grace this year? Yes. We did, right? And we showed up as a community individually. Things were presented and we showed up. And so we just completed last week this wonderful series on being the beloved. It was all about how do I relate to another. And we had it bookended by the Mother's Day and Father's Day. And the talks in there, the feedback that we heard was such a vulnerable path that all of our speakers, our presenters, our ministerial students, our ministers walked, and how much the community appreciates that. And so now we are right here at the precipice of our new theme, and until the end of August, we are going to enter into the summer of joy and see how can we relate to the summer of joy. And I have this picture on my talk title today. It says, Preparing for the Experience of Joy. And I don't know what we call these flowers in English, but we call them Pusteblume. And that's the German word for it. It's Pusteblume. And the idea is that we take one of them, close our eyes, and make a wish and blow on them, right? Puste. Now, we are religious scientists. We don't make wishes. We declare what is going to take place. Are you with me? Yes, we declare. And we can still use the Pusteblume because they are great fun, but we declare what is going to happen. And so before we start, I invite all of you, all of us, to take a moment. Imagine yourself sitting on a porch towards the end of your life, and you're looking back over the landscape of your personal, your individual life, and you think about the summer of 2020. And I want you to say, wow, that was a great summer. Because that is what we are invited to. We are invited to taking this wonderful teaching that we have and create and design the life that we want to live. Mary Morrissey, the wonderful teacher, always says, we have no choice. We are creative beings. We are creating every day. Now, we can create by default, or we can create by design. So what is it that you want to design, create, experience? That at the end of August, you say, Reverend Karen, that was a great idea, and look at how I created exactly what I wanted. I'll share with you what my creation is for this summer. I am dedicating my life to experience a summer of great freedom, of adventure, and of exuberant joy. That is what I want to see when I am in my 80s rocking on some porch. That's what I want to see. So I asked myself, well, how can we then approach creating this together? Because you see, regardless of what your vision is for your summer, the tools that we can use to create it are the same. Perhaps your vision is to create harmonious relationships in all of your life. Or it might be that this is the summer where you are saying, that is the precise moment I started to live a more authentic life. Whatever this is for you, I trust that the tools we're going to take a look at today will work for you. Now, I was inspired by this getting ready and using tools by my beloved granddaughter, Annalise. This is her after her second birthday. She has all the things that she got, and she's ready for fun. She got the bling, she got the wings, she got her purse. She's like, I am ready. So let's see how we can bring this more into an adult version, and we can learn from the 2-year-old. I am ready. I brought some things to express. I'm going to start with this beloved teaching. This is a painting by Henry Benkiel, one of our beloved community members, and it is the symbol of the science of mind, of our teaching. So my first invitation, my first tool that I will bring with me every day is this teaching. Every day in the morning meditation, we read from the 365 days of science of mind. Every day I remind myself, there's a power for good in the universe greater than I am, and I can use it. And it sets my day on a very different trajectory. So this teaching is what I take with me. This is the first tool that I'm inviting us into. Let's see what else we have. Inspiration. Inspiration. Right now, I'm having a little bit of a love affair with Brené Brown. I love the way she tells stories. She writes books and takes us on this journey of transformation with her. Whatever it is that inspires you, whatever author, whatever book has your intention, inspires you to say, yes, here's my vision, and I am reading to move towards that vision. Inspiration. Self-care. So important. At this time, it is not a luxury, it is a necessity. We have to take care of ourselves, of our physical bodies, of our needs. We have to make sure we get enough sleep and look at what we're bringing into our body. So let this lotion be a reminder for excellent, excellent self-care. You know, I always think about how they tell us in the airplanes, put your mask on first before you take care of another. If we are not willing to give ourselves all that we need, how can we give to another? It doesn't work that way. So excellent self-care. Creative expression. However that looks, it might be writing a song, dancing, singing a song, painting a painting, writing a story, writing a poem, whatever. Let us take time each day to give time and space to express what it is that we want to create. This is my expression of freedom. Let's see, we have a couple more. Sunglasses. They remind me to look at the situation from a different perspective. What can I see differently? How can I look at it when all I see are obstacles or reasons why what I want to create is not possible, how can I put any colored glasses on and then see the possibility? Perception. When we change our perception, it opens us up to see something new. And last but not least, call an accountability partner. I need help. I want you to hold the vision for my summer with me. Will you be able and willing to do that? Great. Reach out. The power of the two or more is something we talk about here often. When two or more come together for a shared goal, a shared vision, and that can be, I hold you knowing that you will manifest your vision throughout this summer. That's all it really takes. So find that cheerleader, find the one that is willing to be in your court at all times, and also have this be the one who, when we are falling down, when we are like, that was a good idea, but it wasn't that important, who brings us back and said, no, you made a commitment. You made an agreement. I hold you to that agreement. So powerful. So here are my 6 tools, my invitation of how to bring forth our vision this summer. I love what Ernest Holmes says. He says, I recognize myself to be a center through which the intelligence and the power of the universe find expression. So let's think about that. That is what we say in this teaching all the time, right? I am the place where the universe finds its way into the manifestation on this planet Earth. So it would behoove us, and this is my commitment to myself, to utilize tools to make that possible. To make that possible. Now, every time when we talk about accountability, when we are stepping up to the universe and say, this is what I am going to create, the universe has a tendency to say, yeah, and then bring up everything, and sometimes those things are unlike the things we are standing for. So I like to share something. I went to this great place of possibility, and I said, I declare a summer of freedom for myself. And everything that was bondage within me rose up, wanting to be healed, wanting to be looked at, wanting to be laid down. And I found for myself that the work on boundaries is really helpful. Now, often we think about boundaries as something that I set to another, right? I say, this is where my boundary is. It's almost like drawing a line in the sand and don't cross it. I like to invite us to think about boundaries more as a property with a beautiful fence around it. And we are standing in this property, and I end and another begins at the end there where that fence is. What that helps me to visualize is that I am responsible for everything that is taking place within my property, right? And whatever happens over there, it's really none of my business. I often say, how can we stay in our own lane? So, how can we then cultivate this space that is ours, this place where I have dominion. How can I cultivate it? That it looks and feels and is recognized by others who come towards it as my place. If you have ever been in my office, you saw a big poster, and on the top of the poster says, "What am I responsible for?" Question mark. What am I responsible for? And on that poster are about 10 words. And these are the things that I am responsible for. And now, I'm sure we're going to do a whole talk on boundaries, but I want to bring it into this talk today. Because I want you, and I want all of us to think about boundaries in a different way. That it's really more about me than about another. So the things that I am responsible for are my thoughts and my feelings. Please call me out if I ever say, "You made me feel this." Because that is not true. We are responsible for our own thoughts and our own feelings. Another thing we are responsible for are our choices and our behaviors. And so I like to bring in a lot of awareness. Oh, I am choosing to do this. Why is that? And get away from a reaction to something that happened to me towards I am choosing this. And sometimes we change our behaviors when we do that, don't we? When we say, "Oh, I am choosing to this. Do I really want to choose that?" I don't think so. Our beliefs and our attitudes, our responsibility. If there are things in my property that I have resentment about, it is up to me to work on forgiveness, to have clarifying conversation, to reach out and to take care of my property. The other things that are on that list are my desires, my plans, my resources, my commitments, and my exposure. That is the one that we find when I teach the boundaries and feelings class, where the people are like, "Yeah, but how do I deal with someone who repeatedly breaks down my fence and ignores my fence?" That is where our responsibility for commitments and exposure lies. So I have a responsibility to control how much exposure, how much time and space I give to another who is not respecting my boundaries. I am not, however, responsible however they behave. That is their responsibility. That lies fully on their property. I am responsible for my exposure to that behavior. And so at the bottom of that great big poster, it says, "I'm responsible for getting my needs met." I'm responsible for getting my needs met. And that goes so much back to these tools that can help me to care for myself. I love and look forward to a deeper conversation about boundaries in the next couple of weeks. There's a great quote that's, not on the printer, it's here. It's by Henry Cloud. And he says, "Boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me. A boundary shows me where I end and someone else begins, leading me to a sense of ownership. Knowing what I am to own and take responsibility for gives me freedom." Gives me freedom. Yes. So we have looked at the intentions. We have looked at boundaries. And my last point is really about permission. We live in a culture where it's almost unheard of to really take what is ours, to take the space that we occupy. Not in a sense of pushing another out, but just claiming it. This is where I am right now. This is my space. So Brené Brown, again, has been doing a lot of work with what she calls permission slips, right? Where we actually take the time and give ourselves permission to feel, to experience, to do something that is important for us. She is known to always have an outfit with pockets on her so that she can have her permission slip close by in a pocket. I do not have a pocket today, but I have my permission slip right here. This is my permission slip for this summer. And it says, I, Karen, give myself permission to fully enjoy my life while I care for my beloved community. That is my intention, to fully enjoy my life while I serve as a spiritual leader here at New Vision Center. Permission slips are very, very important because what happens is that as we approach, again, the universe with wanting to experience more, all of the emotions come up. And as Brené so powerfully says, we cannot selectively numb emotions. When we numb the painful emotions, we also numb the positive emotions. So let's take a look at that. When we want to experience more positive emotions in our life, it then makes sense that also what we call negative emotions will rise up. And that is where we need one another, where we have to take the time to lean into inspiration, into this teaching, so we can stay on track and live the summer that we decide to design for ourselves. We owe it to ourselves. We have a responsibility. So here's my invitation for this week. Take the time to think about what is this summer for me. When I sit on that porch, what do I want to look back and say, wow, 2020, this summer brought me whatever that is. And let us together take all of our energy of utilizing that power that is greater than we are and bring it into manifestation. I hope that I sit on that porch with many in our rocking chairs and we'll talk about it. I'm so grateful you're on this journey with me. And so it is. And so we pray. I thought we took care of that when Rick sang that beautiful song, but this is the time when we pray. So please join me as we take a stand. Those practitioners of this beloved teaching, please rise with me. Let us hold this entire community, this entire world in our consciousness. And so I recognize that there is one power, one presence, that the divine is everywhere. It is making itself known so beautifully as joy and peace, as harmony, as abundance, as a summer of possibilities, of great joy. And as we step fully conscious into this creation, this co-creation with the divine, I take a moment and recognize the goodness of life, the eternal loving kindness, the gracious givingness. And so I speak a word of blessing for all the beloveds who are gathered in person, via the live stream, driving by on Tatum Boulevard, in the world. Taking a moment and declare that our life force is in service to create a world that works for everyone. And we are bringing forth love and light and peace and harmony and joy and freedom. That we are what the world has been waiting for. And I am so grateful. I am so, so very grateful to speak these words, to know this truth, and to place this word into universal law, the law that says yes. Yes, my beloved. Yes, it is already so. Letting it be. Together we claim this truth as we say, and so it is.